Very well.
Wherever you are, we would like to welcome you. Let's talk with Pastor Warusho. You know that on this show we address marriage, family, we address business, leadership, development. We touch issues of health. And for tonight, we are going straight into holiday making and tourism. Our topic for tonight is therapeutic holiday making. When is holiday making therapeutic to yourself and to the family? And is it possible that while we think we are on holiday, we are not holiday making at all? We want to test all these views and see exactly by the end of the day, what exactly does it mean to holiday make? And if you are holiday making, what effect is it having on yourself emotionally, spiritually, socially, and otherwise? And I would like to say to you, viewers, as usual, remember to send in your questions and your comments. I've got a group of specialists here who are gurus in holiday making and the tourism. They should be able to answer your questions. And to help me go through this discussion tonight, I've got over there Izzy Mbinga. I've got Cuthbert Nube, and I also have Andile Mavata. I want to think so. Andile Mavata.
Yes,
I want to give each one of them just a few seconds to self-introduce in terms of what profession do they represent and what are they doing out there in life. And some of them do have services that can help us with the tourism and holiday making. Could I give this time to Izzy, please, if you can take us through?
Hi, good evening, Pastor. Thank you for the opportunity. As you have rightfully said, my name is Izzy Mbinga, and I live in Pretoria. I am a registered tour guide in South Africa, and I've studied marketing. I'm a director of a company called Lebakeng Events and Project. And our mandate as a company is to organize tours in and around South Africa, and sometimes even across the borders of South Africa. And that's who I am. Thank you so kindly.
Beautiful, Izzy. I'm happy that our listeners can get the idea that you are a tour guide, and I'm sure you know every destination in South Africa where we need to go. And I'm happy that you also have an idea of our regional destinations as well. We shall discover this as we go into our discussions. Over to you, Andile.
Thank you, Pastor. Good evening to everyone. Thank you for being part of this lovely opportunity to speak about this lovely topic we're going to get into today. I represent a company called Alum Group, which has got a group of subsidiaries. Also, one of our subsidiaries is Alum Tourism. Our main focus as a company, we focus on heritage tourism and township tourism, especially because we have seen the source of tourism that we need to bring into the townships and how we can move into domestic tourism with everyone else. And I studied town planning and also geographic information systems. And this is who I am. And thank you for the opportunity for today.
Thanks, Andile. You make my heart pounds with joy when you talk of township tourism. You know, I grew up in Highfield and also Mbare out there. You know, those townships. And I want to hear, how can we come up with the tourism in Mbare and in Soweto and maybe in any other Luveve, as it were. Thank you for the experience you are bringing to us here and the angle that you are bringing here. You also talk of heritage tourism.
Yeah.
I am sure our viewers are really up to something. There's going to be a lot to learn from what you are going to share. Let me end with Cuthbert Ncube there. Who is Cuthbert Ncube?
Thank you so much, Pastor. Really appreciate and to be involved in this engagement, and to all your viewers and listeners across the continent, most probably across the globe. Yes, Cuthbert is my name, and I'm based in Pretoria, South Africa, and I've been within the tourism space for quite some time. I'm currently serving under the African Tourism Board, where the mandate is to say how best can we drive the agenda of Africa. Yesteryears, we thought that tourists are those guys who land at the airport. At times, white guys who land at the airport. Yet we don't realize that we can be tourists in our own space, and we need to appreciate what God has surrounded us with and explore. That's part of tourism, and that's part of our engagement, and as we progress towards a better united Africa.
You have really blown this event out of proportion. Having someone coming from the African Tourism Board, do I get it, Cuthbert, that you are the chair there?
Yes, Pastor.
Beautiful. And have you ever worked, before you came to the chair on the African Tourism Board? Where were you before?
2001. Yes, 2001, I was actually elected to lead the continent within the United Nations World Tourism Organization, where I served as a board member as well as a representative from the continent, where we are saying, Africa, let's raise our flag. Yes, and then I joined ATB thereafter.
Oh, that's beautiful there, Cuthbert. We are so proud that we can have an ambassador, someone who is representing African tourism as a continent. I'm sure with your rich background, we are going to benefit quite a lot. And one thing that I like straight away from what you have said is that, look, in the 80s, 90s, and even some later part of the year 2000 and what have you, in the 20s year, our definition of tourism to many of us is someone who is coming from England, someone who is coming from America, from the Middle East, and they're coming to Victoria Falls and maybe coming to Soweto and what have you. Very rarely do we think that even locally, without flying anywhere, we can still consider ourselves as the tourists. Thank you for that background. I'm sure it will be quite helpful. So, gentlemen, we promised our people that we are going to be discussing therapeutic holiday making, and as a way of getting into that discussion, I want to find out from yourselves what holiday making is and what tourism is. Is it one and the same thing? Are they different? And maybe let me find any volunteer from you who would want to come in first in terms of what is holiday making and what is tourism. Is there a difference, or this is one and the same thing?
Well, probably maybe let's talk about what is holiday.
Yeah. Tell us, Izzy, what is holiday?
Okay. Well, holiday, it's like setting a time aside, doing. Am I audible?
We had lost you, but now you are back.
Yes, I'm saying holiday, it's setting aside time, and doing things that you don't normally do.
Yeah.
Like going to school, going to work, and that's just about holidaying. And well, obviously, it will depend whether you want to do it at home, you want to do it somewhere else, you want to do it probably maybe in another region, but you need to intentionally set aside time and do things that you don't normally do.
Oh, okay. Your holiday is like there must be an element of time, and then there's an element of activity. And according to you, Izzy, the activity should be something different from your normal day-to-day engagement. Is this how I'm getting you?
That's correct. That's correct, Mfundisi. Yes.
Okay. Thanks. Anyone who would like to add to that? Maybe Cuthbert, you also wanted to say something.
Yeah, maybe to expand to what Izzy has just elaborated now. Tourism, it can come in different forms. We do have educational tourism. We do have shopping tourism. We do have medical tourism. We do have vacational tourism. And we do have holiday making tourism. It all forms within the ambit of tourism.
Oh, okay. Oh, that helps me quite a lot. You have educational tourism, you have vacational tourism, you have all these things coming, and they're all operating under the armpit of tourism. So holiday making is an aspect of that.
Yes.
Okay, beautiful. Andile, do you want to add in an angle or anything to what Izzy and Cuthbert have said?
Yes, if I may just come in there, especially between holiday making and tourism. Holiday making is more of a self-introspection exercise where a person will go there to be relaxed. It's something that has got to do with resetting, realigning as an individual, as a family, as a group of people. And when we look at tourism, we're looking at more of educational things, things that will lead us to get to know cultures around places, backgrounds of people. So it's something that is educational on the tourism side. Meanwhile, on the holiday side, you are getting away from all the business and getting into a space where you'll just move away from all the stresses and the business of our daily life.
I don't know if I want to differ with you or I am seeking to understand what you are saying against what the other gentlemen have said. Now, tell me, Andile, we are talking of relaxing and what have you. All my life, I've always worked far away from my home village and my city, Harare. Worked in Bulawayo 11 years. I was in Botswana 6 years, Swaziland, I don't know how many years. Now I'm here in South Africa. So each time I think like 25 December is coming to 1st January. The first thing that comes in my mind, hey, family, we are going on holiday. We are going Ekaya. And when we get to Ekaya, we are busy with the cows, maybe in the field, and we are sweating it out there with the maize and everything else. Are you telling me that's not holiday making?
No,
because there's a lot of sweat. There's a lot of sweat fixing wires and making sure we are building the house of grannies falling apart, and we are fixing it.
Yes.
Actually, people who do that normally come back home worse than when they went to holiday.
Yes, you are right. You are right. You are more than right. We have looked at this, what you have just spoken about, Pastor. Most of the time, when you look at people going back home, it's got to do with more of the cultural values, going back to a place where they need to go belong again. But it does not give out most of the relaxing exercises that will let them come back in a refreshed way. So we need to look at it in a different manner as well.
Yes. Okay. I think by the time we finish this discussion, since Cuthbert says there's a tour, what did you say? Educational tourism, and there is also vocational tourism, and many of the different tourisms and whatever. We need to give a name to this one, which is culturally based, where parents expect our urban boys and girls are coming home to roost and what have you. We need to find out a name for that. If that is not holiday making, I would like at some stage to come back to it and discuss that one further.
Okay.
But anyway, here is another point that I want to bring here. And I'm sure we kind of touched it. And now we want to move away from the broader spectrum of tourism and zero in on holiday making. What are the benefits to an individual, to a marriage, to a family, mom, dad, and kids, or mom and kids, or dad and kids, of having holiday in the truest sense of a holiday? What are the social, emotional, spiritual benefits that can be derived from a properly constructed holiday making, as it were?
Well, I've got a few, and I will just mention a few and leave it over to my colleagues here.
Yes, please help us.
Maybe one that can come to my mind immediately is that holiday reduces stress. Remember, like probably maybe if you're a businessman or quite involved in a lot of things, or a politician, you know, when you go holidaying, like you remember I said you set aside time and you actually refrain intentionally from doing the routine, you know, and your stress level, if you're a teacher or a politician or a pastor for that matter, your stress level, you know, goes down because you don't have to go to church boards, you don't have to go to adcoms, you don't have to go to executive meetings.
Preach on.
This is the time doing different things, playing with your kids, cuddling, you know, with your wife, and your stress level goes down. And another thing about holiday is that
before you go to another thing. Yeah, before you go to another thing, Izzy, sorry to be interjecting here and there. I don't want people to forget the point that you have put across. If I am going on a holiday with my wife and my children, we are going to de-stress. This is, I underline that? Whatever it is we are doing must reduce stress than to increase it.
Exactly.
What other point do you have, Izzy? Sorry to interject, but allow me to be coming in and out. It's okay.
Okay. The other point is that it strengthens, as you have just said, relationships. Remember, during the year, if probably intentionally we normally take our holidays end of the year. During the year, I don't have time for my kids. I don't have time for my, wife. We travel around. We go all over. But this time, like I will go back to setting aside intentionally. You have more time with your kids, more time with your wife. You don't have to talk to your colleagues. You don't have to talk to anyone, and it enhances relationships. And I will leave the other points to my friends. I don't want to take more. But
right. Before Andile or Cuthbert comes in, Izzy, you have got powerful points there. I'm taking notes. Right through the year, let's look at Pastor Ngwaru. Right through the year, sometimes I struggle to have meal time with my family because of church boards.
So true.
And because I am praying in people's homes. I am running maybe what they call campaigns and what have you. I'm preaching there. I'm going to that country and I'm all by myself and the family is all by themselves. And even them at home, others are busy with school. My wife is busy with her business and what have you. But come holiday time, I want you to correct me. It's a time to move away from people to ourselves. Did I get you right?
Definitely. That is why actually sometimes it's even important to have a different telephone line or connection from your business so that you switch off and you can concentrate on your family. It's only people who can contact you on urgent matters. Members should not call you. You know,
Yes.
Pastor Maposa should not call you for ATCOM or for any other thing. It is.
I know Pastor Maposa is listening. I'm glad you said that. You must not call me for ATCOM when it's holiday time. All right,
when
thanks.
It's holiday, it's you and your child, your family.
And your time, yes. Cuthbert, do you want to reinforce what is he saying, or you have another angle?
No, I think I concur with him. Holidaying is a time of disconnection. You disconnect from your normal norms.
Yes.
When you disconnect from something, you need to be connected to something. So you disconnect to your normal norm and you reconnect to nature. You reconnect with your partner in a different environment. I wish that could be possible, easy, when you say, rather have two numbers of your cell phones. When you go on holiday, switch it off completely. Switch it off. Go and connect with nature. Go and connect with nature. Imagine the two of you, you are walking, feeling the breeze of Victoria Falls hand in hand. That one is admiring the rainbow at your foot there. It draws you closer to one another. So you need to disconnect in order for you to be connected again.
You know, when you talk of Victoria Falls, 1983, I went there for April for my honeymoon. The first time on earth I touched base with Victoria Falls. I'm not a musician, but I found myself singing, "Oh Lord, my God, how great thou art." The monkeys could see me singing, and this is how beautiful it was when I was walking with this bride of mine. What a way. Andile, you want to add something? Hey, you disconnect to connect.
Yes, Pastor, I just want to concur with what Mr. Ncube just said. Another thing that we need to look into, really deep into as human beings, the spiritual aspect of disconnecting and connecting to something else. So when you move away from our daily living experiences and you go on holiday, we are connecting spiritually to nature as well. It's just like you look at everything, it's got a season. It's got a season. If you look at any tree, it will give you fruits on a season, and other season it will not bear those fruits. So we also must go give that element of our spirituality into it as well. So we need to disconnect to connect with our spirituality.
Beautiful. Before we go any further, let me ask this question. Maybe there are two questions, or maybe it's one in two. The first one is, when we go out during camp meeting, people then take their leave around the camp meeting and forgo any other days for family. We are all going to camp meeting, get in our caravan, we go to camp meeting. And also maybe there's a family life outing out there, and we are all going. We are hundreds of us there, and we are camping in Liedenberg, Mpumalanga there, and what have you. Tell me about holiday making with events where we have got crowds around. It's camp meeting. It's about 5,000, 6,000 of us, and maybe it's a family life outing for couples, and we're about 200 couples out there in Kruger National Park. Is there any holiday to talk here? To talk of?
No,
I wouldn't say it's a holiday, because you spend 3% of that time with your partner, and the other 97%, you are busy socializing, you are busy with all running up and down with all the programs. So that cannot be a really outing with your family. Holidays are meant between yourself and your God, between yourself and your family, between yourself and your partner. If it becomes a wider audience, then it's no longer a camp meeting. It's no longer a holiday.
It's no longer a holiday. That's why it is called. That's why it is called a camp meeting. When we are at camp meeting, we should not fool ourselves that we are holiday making. We have gone to a spiritual event. Is this what you are saying?
That's true.
Andre, you wanted to say something?
Yes, no, Mr. Nube is very right on that. Those are two different elements. You cannot look into socializing with other people as part of your holiday, because
Yes.
there it's a social gathering where you have to get to understand other social aspects of other people, and you are not focusing on yourself and your family. Then that is not the way to go about.
I want to bring. Yeah. Yes.
Adding on just a quick add on what my friends have just said. You know,
Yes.
some of us have an attitude of being free when we are with church members, you know, and bigger crowd.
Yes.
You see me free, laughing with everyone, making jokes, but confine me to my family. I can't even share a simple joke. I can't even do something else. But holidays afford you that opportunity of at least saying, I'm stuck with these people for 10 days or 14 days. I have to be creative. I have to do something. You understand what I'm saying? So I think we should treat camp meeting like camp meeting and have special times with our families. We will get used to it. It does not come easily. It will get used to it.
Yes. I don't know if you understand what you have just said. I don't know. You can actually write a book on the camp meeting and the holiday making. You can actually write a book. I mean, that's powerful. Just to buttress what you are saying, I'm the pastor of the church, and 9 times out of 10, I'm in my members' life in terms of prayer, giving spiritual support. We go to camp meeting. They'll be at the pastor's booth again. Pastor, we need the prayers. This one is sick. This one is what? And you are further taken away from your wife and your children, even at this event. Are you getting it? So even if you are not a pastor, like you are saying, people tend to want to socialize around your friends. You are at camp meeting, but you and your wife are at the camp meeting, but you may notice that you are spending most of the time apart from each other.
Oh, yes.
And yet when you left home, you were in the same car. You get to camp meeting, you are further divided by people that are there. The same applies with going to a family life outing, and you want to call it a holiday, and yet when you get there, the guys are with the guys and the ladies are with the ladies, and you only meet at night when you sleep when you are very tired. I mean, you can just write a book on that, man. Anyone who wants to come up with something before I go to the next question?
Another thing, my friends will add again.
Yes.
You know, holiday gives you an opportunity to try new things.
Yes.
So, you know, most probably you are used to driving, but when you're on holiday, you may try something like horse riding, for instance.
Horse riding.
Something that you don't normally do. I have never been to on top of a horse. But a holiday would actually want to make you ride a bicycle, you know, or go on a boat. Or go on a helicopter to see the view of Soweto or Johannesburg. So it gives you this adrenaline to want to try new things that you don't normally do under normal circumstances. So why don't go on holiday and try things that you don't normally do,
including bungee jumping? I remember the other day. I was with my wife in Victoria Falls, and I just said, I'm going to go not bungee jumping, but on the swing across the gorge. Man, it was like a flight to heaven when I went across and then stopped there and then it came back again. I spent the whole night celebrating the courage and the pleasure that I got from doing that. I get to understand what you're saying. Right. Andile, Nube, let's add to what we've been asking you.
I think to add on that, Pastor, we are living in an ever more interconnected world where for many, holiday and travel is something to look forward to. It
exactly
has an adventure within the adventure of life, because when you look at the life aspect, it is an adventure itself. So the thought of our next vacation of when and where we might want to go, who might want to travel with, and what we might do when we get to where we dream of going. So it steers that excitement and anticipation. So it really rejuvenates us. So it is vital for us to put aside within a year, few days, where we indulge ourselves, whereas we have indicated from the offset that we need to disconnect. My wife should stop making the bed, should stop cooking. Let's go out and indulge ourselves and learn new ways and new things, like Izzy has indicated.
I don't know if I'm betraying my culture. I don't want to betray my culture. But as a young Michael in the 1980s, when I got married, and I believed in village, I grew up in the rural area, and my grandma was like my biological mother. And each holiday would go there. And then you remember when you are in the village, all your relatives tend to build around in the same area. Now you have this young Elizabeth who goes to that area with me. For me, I'm going to the river, I'm going to see the animals, I'm going to what, but she's busy cooking for these relatives, and she shall cook for these ones, and she shall do this, she shall wash the plates. And by the time you are saying we're going back to Francistown, you are going back with a dead person who now needs to go to a place of rest. Are you getting what I'm saying here? Yes. So I really appreciate the idea of if the wife has been cooking all the time, why not give a holiday where there's no pots and no cooking, and maybe everybody is doing everything and it's just fun for the whole family? Andile, do you want to bring something
Pastor,
else?
Yes, Pastor. In the midst of the life that we are living currently, we can see the toils of urbanization, what they've come and done in our society, whereby every person now, a normal person currently works between 2 to 3 jobs. So a holiday now is an essential part of our daily living. It has to be part of our lifestyle. It's an essential part of our lifestyle. If we take it away, there is no way that we can catch up. We have to revitalize.
Beautiful. I want to continue revisiting these thoughts, Andile, making holiday making it has to be a lifestyle. And then Cuthbert was talking of it as, why don't you build a sense of anticipation? The whole family is looking forward to a certain date, a certain month, a certain event, a certain trip, and whatever. You are all building towards that. We would like to revisit that. But before we get there, what are some of the impediments, barriers, and challenges to holiday making? Maybe briefly, let's not spend a lot of time here. What are some of the impediments to holiday making? Yes. Why is it that people don't holiday make?
I think people think it's expensive. And I can tell you for free, Fundis, that holiday is not expensive. It just needs proper planning.
Yes.
Just needs, like now, today is the 3rd of December. If I start thinking of going on holiday now, it's already late. Where
it's already late.
The money. It's already late.
Yeah.
But if I have to plan on the 2021 holiday, I have to start in January.
Okay.
Either if it's a holiday, I'll have to start looking around, phoning around, and getting ideas and getting probably maybe people who can advise me, and start planning, putting aside some monies for that particular holiday. But if I think about it, and I said December is December, Christmas, I want to go to Durban, and from Durban drive to Cape Town, you will come back broke and in more problems. And I can tell you, that is why people say it is a holiday, going on holiday, it's a rich, men's thing, or people's thing, or kind of white people's thing. And I can tell you, every single person can afford a holiday if we plan. So lack of planning.
lack of planning is a big challenge that can cause you not to go on holiday. Right. What are some of the challenges associated with holiday making? Why are people not going on holiday?
Pastor, holiday making and tourism in a larger extent has got so many misconceptions.
Yes.
Like one that our colleague has just mentioned, not planning, people saying that it's expensive to do it. At the end of the day, when you look at the misconceptions that come with holiday making, it's quite a lot of them, and it's because of the type of holiday making that has been advertised through the media, where a person will only feel that holidays only in Seychelles, Miami, all these other far places. But holiday is not only just about how far you go. There's a lot of places around us that you can go to. So those are the misconceptions first. And you know, media plays a very pivotal role in letting people make decisions, and people make decisions in those kind of things, and it creates misconception on top of others, and it becomes a bigger problem for us. Yes.
Okay, so the media can distort the idea of holiday making into building an idea of something that is totally impossible for the average person.
Yes, because you see, Pastor, in everything that we do, I think at this point in time, as people, we need to look at how we redefine things. Definitions. Let's come up with our own definitions of what a holiday is. Not using just what a holiday is to you. If, like we have said now, it's for relaxation. Does relaxation mean that you have to be far away from where you are around, or you can even do it domestically in a place that will serve the purpose of that holiday?
You have provoked a lot of questions in my mind, but let me give this chance to Cuthbert to say something. I want to come back to what you are saying. It's powerful though, but I want to come back to it. Cuthbert. Challenges.
Pastor,
why are people not going on holiday?
Let me go a step further.
Yes.
Yes, as my colleagues, they've indicated that financial aspect might be one of the hindrances. But I would want to be a little bit controversial, not political.
Yes.
I think time is now where we break the barriers that separate us as Africans. Because when we think of holidays, the emphasis is on within our domestic holiday making. For my going to Durban, going to Kruger National Park, going to Savannah Caves and so forth. But let's go. Let's take a further step on that. That's why I want to emphasize on some of the barriers that are a hindrance, especially within the context of the Africa connectivity, where we need really reforms, especially restructuring our policies. We had a scenario where, remember, those days, tourism was meant for a certain segment of a society, right? It was not crafted for blacks. That is why if I want to travel, let's say to our neighboring country, in Tanzania, flying there, it's more expensive. You pay a lot of taxes and so forth, and and even in hotels for us to go to Durban, those were crafted for a particular segment of this society. So we need a situation where our government gets involved, especially with the advent of this pandemic. It should have afforded us time for Africa to regroup together and say, how best can we start promoting our domestic travel within ourselves as member states? Let's ease the issue of accommodation. During peak season, I cannot afford. I have to book. A month or 6 months, 7 months before. So we need those policies to be revisited to make sure that the affordability, especially for our populace, it has to be accommodated. So those are some of the hindrances.
I think from a political economic point of view, Africa is saying we make money from tourism, so let's package our tourism to get foreign currency from international arrivals and whatever. And as they are doing that, they miss on the local policy in terms of making tourism and holiday making accessible to people whose wages are not as big as that, whose livelihoods are simply basic. And now, Cuthbert, you told us in the beginning that you are the chairperson of the African Tourism Board. What are you guys doing about this?
Look, our responsibility as African Tourism Board is to rebrand the continent. I think Andile did indicate that our narrative has been told by somebody else. Yes. Yet we are sitting as a backdrop. We are saying, as Africa, let us write our own narrative. Let's tell the world what Africa has. So it's vital, and we actually have situations where we are engaging with ministers from across the continent, where we deal with these issues in a very robust, because as a private sector, there is so much we can do. But at the end of the day, you need the government to come in. I know that the AU in their
African Union,
yes, there are 2063 agenda items. Those are items, especially within the connectivity issue. But we are saying, as African Tourism Board, colleagues, let's be serious. You can you cannot come here and say, I have, my long-term strategy, that goes beyond 30 years. Some of us, we would be actually resting in our graves. We need immediate intervention so that we are able to accommodate our intra-Africa connectivity.
Beautiful. Can I tell you something, Cuthbert? When I was in Australia with my daughter's family over there, and I'm trying to find out exactly how much does it cost to fly from Johannesburg to Sydney, and then Sydney to Beijing. I was surprised that at that time you only needed $200. And you are in a jumbo jet, you are going to Beijing, you are holiday making, and you can do lots of connections, and you come back. But when it comes to the African soil, we make some of these things extremely remote for the benefit of our own people. So I really appreciate when you're talking of, let's say, rebrand tourism, African tourism, so that it is accessible to the people. I want to think with your advocates and also using your chair, you are going to rub shoulders with the policymakers, and one day flying to Lusaka from Harare should be just a few dollars, man. I'm there and I can afford to be in a hotel of choice and come back. I really am waiting for that day to celebrate that. It will be wonderful. So friends,
actually, Pastor, our recovery within the tourism sector now we're not going to rely on international travel, but we are going to rely on domestic. So we need to restructure our policies to accommodate that market segment.
Do you think we have any choice? Just today, my travel agent sent me a notice to say the South African Airways are downing flights, international flights. So if you had thought of going to Paris, going to Jerusalem, going to what SAA is saying for now, we are not going there. So if we do not build on local tourism, this sector may actually die in Africa. You know that.
Yes, and Pastor, also just to interject, what's very important as well, when we do this policy formulation, there's a very big problem with the name tourism. Just that word alone. If we can look at that name as it is, Pastor, one thing, at what point, like we must ask this question, at what point do you officially become a tourist in someone's eye?
Please help us, Andile.
So now it's about time that we need to look at tourism in a different way, because when you look at the word tourism, it was meant a person that would come in, having a camera with certain types of a look of which is people of international descent.
You must have a passport. You must also have a passport. If you don't have a passport, you're not a tourist.
Yeah. So we need to look at those aspects of defining things in our own way in Africa to say,
Yes.
what is it that we say as you're a tourist? A person can look at himself domestically and say, I'm also a tourist in my own country, but we don't have that at the moment, and it becomes a problem.
All right. Having said that, remember, Andile, I promised you that I definitely will want to come back to you. You're pushing the domestic tourism thrust, including Cuthbert, and I'm sure that's your bread and butter.
Yes.
Let's talk of destinations.
Sure.
Let's talk of destinations. Are there places really that are therapeutic in South Africa, in Zimbabwe, Malawi, in Zambia, in Angola, or we really must go to Europe, go to Jerusalem to really go to Miami, Sunset Beach, and go to Hawaii? Do we have destinations that are therapeutic?
When they say, like they say, probably maybe before we come to the therapeutic part of it, they normally say charity begins at home. In my experience as a tour guide, I have realized that our fellow South Africans, let me talk about South Africans. They don't know South Africa. Yeah, they don't know South Africa.
You are saying South Africans don't know South Africa?
Not at all. You will realize, actually, Andy, they will bear me out here, that there are so many South Africans who have never been even to Soweto.
Yes.
Soweto. I mean, if you have to take them on a historic tour around Soweto, I mean, they don't know.
Yes.
Africans who have not been to the union buildings. There are South Africans who have not been to the Trekker Monument in Pretoria. Just to name a few.
Yes.
And you get international tourists who goes there, who are coming for the second, fourth time to these places. I mean, we have such rich history and historic, monuments in our country, and we don't experience it. And some of them, they are so. I mean, to go to, let's say, to a museum in Soweto, you'll pay only 20 rands. I mean, you go to union buildings, you enjoy the beauty there. You pay hardly a cent. You know. I mean, you go to any other place, you go. I'm saying South Africans don't take advantage of our beautiful country and our beautiful culture, our beautiful history. And if we can just probably maybe encourage, you find South Africans and kind of excited about, we want to go to New York, we want to go to UK, we want to go to England, we want to go over. But you ask them about, have you been to Nelson Mandela's house? No.
Yes.
They don't even know. Where is that? So we need to encourage our people. Before you start thinking about New York, go around, enjoy your country, enjoy this beautiful country.
Do you see something very easy? You'll have white people are the ones arriving as international guests, most of them. And when you go to Vilakazi Street at Nelson Mandela's house, the whole street is full of white people. So the blacks, we are not flying out, and neither are we reaching the closest possible way we should be. Right. Now let's find out, Cuthbert, destinations, please. Can you tell us, you are promoting local African domestic tourism, holiday making. Where do people go?
Before I go to that question, Fundisi, tourism, which is the most important segment of our economies global, it contributes about 10.3% of the global GDP. You're talking of over $3 trillion US. That on itself should actually inform us that it is a very important sector, vehicle in generating revenue. And coming back again, Andile mentioned it, that we think of tourists, somebody who comes from abroad. Do we realize, have we appreciated, especially when I look at the shopping tourism, People are coming from Mozambique, coming to South Africa, doing their shopping, contributing towards the gross domestic product of this country. Those are tourists. And then also agree with you that it must start within. Let's explore Soweto. Let's explore Kruger National Park. Let's explore the Savannah Caves. I once went there. The beauty and nature at its best. And I am saying our narrative has been taught by somebody who will tell you that, okay, you see this formation of caves, they are 60 billion years and so forth. They are telling us lies. We need to start appreciating. Go to Victoria Falls. Go to Victoria Falls. See a rainbow walking on that. It's magical. Go to Durban. When you see those waves rolling up and down, it's nature at its best. So Africa, you have said it's unfortunate it's vice versa. Most of the European travelers, they are flocking to Africa. And Africa, by the way, was the second in terms of the highest numbers of receivers, following with Asia. So that on itself tells you that Africa has so much to offer, but still is this said charity must begin at home. Let us go and explore ourselves. Let's enjoy what God has given us in Africa.
No, that's beautiful. I'm sure that's a powerful song to sing. It's a new song that we need to sing to ourselves. Let's find out from Andile. Andile, you're talking of heritage tourism. You're talking of township tourism. Are you sure it is worth the while to go to Soweto, to go to Highfield, to go to I don't know, Matola and Maputo?
Pastor, as my colleagues have said, charity begins at home. It all starts with us. And it starts with the narrative, narrative that has been told to us. It is such a big problem when you look into the heritage element that Soweto has. The history, the rich history of Soweto, yet most of those stories about Soweto are not being told. Then that's why we need to look back into the heritage of Soweto and let the Sowetans be the ones that speak about their history and let the Sowetans tell their own stories. We all have grandfathers that have participated. We all have great grandparents that have participated in this. Each and every household in Soweto can tell a story of its own. And that encompasses a very, very, very rich history. The most important thing that you can look about narratives, of which we need to take it forward going forward, it is documenting our history. That is where we lack the most. The gap of not documenting our history is taking us a step back than the guys that are pushing their narratives currently. So we need to start unearthing that rich history and telling the story of Soweto by Sowetans. We cannot. It is very, very, very disturbing. You find tour guides, you find a person from Morocco, you find a person telling a story of Soweto. And you say, why would someone that is not from Soweto tell a story of Soweto? Pastor, it needs to stop. It needs to start with us now. And if we don't do it now, then we won't have that time. So townships have got a lot of stories. When you look at the town planning aspects, of which is the special element of the policy formulation, Soweto townships was just a way that was formed to say, let us just dump all these black people there so that they can just be in one place, congested together. But yet they did not know that in that aspect as well, they were growing a very big and strong nation, of which that same population is the strong force of our economy now. It is our strong force of our GDP. So let us use that advantage of that strong GDP that we have and say, let us tell our own story now. Let us have a society that will say, let us have our own trust where we'll contribute as Sowetans. Let us have each and every house bring those pictures so that we can document this history. And let us have that narrative. If we don't do it ourselves, then the narrative won't change.
That's powerful. I tell you something. Yeah, easy.
Let's
please.
Let's give our viewers a teaser about a Soweto tour. That we will take them. We will take them from wherever. Start at Baragwanath Hospital, Chris Hani now.
Yes.
Most of them don't know that we have the biggest hospital with almost close to 5,000 beds. 5,000 beds, the biggest in African continent. The second in the world. 5,000 beds.
Yes.
And from there, we'll take them through that route, take them to what is that, Andile? Where the Freedom Charter was received.
Sliptown Square. Sliptown Square. Walter Sisulu Square
we'll
now.
Take them there. Walter Sisulu Square. This is where the Freedom Charter was accepted. The Freedom Charter forms part of our constitution. Actually, our constitution in South Africa is actually built on that. And we will take them through to Regina Mundi. Regina Mundi, one of the Roman Catholic Church, which actually served as a place of refuge for all our comrades during the difficult times. And from there, we will take them to that street that you're talking about. The street that you're talking about, the most famous street, Vilakazi Street, where we have 2 Nobel laureates living there. It's actually in the Guinness Book of Records. Some of our people don't know. We're talking about Nelson Mandela. We're referring to Bishop Tutu, staying in the same street. And if we have time, we will serve them African cuisines there. You know, beautiful African food. And I can tell you, Europeans enjoy this. Talk about Nelson Mandela's house, museum. We take them there to see where Mandela stayed before he was incarcerated. Up the road, we take them to the pool where the June 16, 1976 riot began. And from there, we can mention a lot. Andile can even add on that. This is just a
to get in also there's a lot of controversy. When it comes to heritage tourism, I'm a very controversial character in that aspect as well. To say there are figures that have not been told, stories of figures that have never been told, the figures of the likes of James Sofasonke Panza, who is the father of Soweto, who is the father of townships. There's so many stories that we need to unearth, and the stories that we need to tell out there. And these are stories our grandparents have been telling us while we grew up. And when you look at it and you ask yourself, where are these stories today? They are gone. They are not there. Why? It's because of a different narrative that everyone is pushing.
let me also admit something. Was it in 2019? I was hosting an All Africa event summit, as it were, and our tour guide was Izimbinga there, and he actually redefined my understanding of Johannesburg or of Gauteng. And when he took us from this place to that place with the international guests, batteries ran flat as people were taking photos and what have you. All I knew about South Africa was West Rand, East Rand, and Eastgate and Westgate, and also ShopRite and Pick and Pay and Spar. You are coming from outside, you want to go to Spar and Pick and Pay and whatever. But I tell you, when we went to Johannesburg underground, a lot, I don't know if South Africans know Johannesburg from under there. 900, almost a kilometer down. And then you look at Johannesburg from under. I mean, it was an experience and a half. And when he took us to this place, is it, what do you call it, this library, or center, the Apartheid Museum or something.
The Apartheid Museum.
Apartheid Museum. And everyone, before you die, it's important to go and encounter the history of this nation from there. You go there, you sit down and say, I don't think I knew South Africa. And I'm sure it's just like we have people in Victoria Falls. One time I was in Victoria Falls. I don't know how many times I've been in Victoria Falls. You ask this guy who is selling these what do you call it, carvings, wooden carvings, stone carvings, and what have you, and some other guys there to say, hey man, how deep is the Victoria Falls? Said, me, I've never been there. Where were you born? I was born in Victoria Falls. Where did you go to school? In Victoria Falls. Have you ever been anywhere else? No. But have you been to the falls themselves? No, I've not been there. Now, friends, it's a reality that we cannot run away from. Even professional people like some of us, ours is to simply go to work, then go to malls to eat, come back home and think we have had a good time and whatever. And I'm sure it's a high time we begin to revisit creating good times, therapeutic times for the family. Our time is against us. I would have wanted to ask a lot of questions, but I promised the viewers I would go back to the issue of Ashambe Ekaya. Let's go from Joburg to Mpumalanga to go and see the parents. Let's go from Harare and go to Murewa to see the parents and what have you. I've had during the week some prospective viewers who send messages to say, Pastor, can that be clarified? Because our husbands and ourselves, we want to be clear on that, because some of us, we have husbands who think like, I don't think we're having holiday, or we have wives who think we are not having holiday. How do we balance the importance of going to see parents and yet at the same time you have your own separate times when you say we are done with parents, but I'm sure we need to have holiday now? How does that work? In a nutshell, I have another question to ask. How can a family work around that?
Maybe let me talk from my experience. Just one.
Yes.
Before, like, if we have planned a holiday in December, my wife and my kids and would here, we would actually start at home first. To see that my parents have groceries for December, see to it that everything is fine, and they will be comfortable enough and everything. Spend a few days with them or a day with them, and from there we tell them that, look, now we are leaving for holiday to Cape Town or to Durban.
Yes.
But they will be sorted out. Whatever that they would need, they would definitely be sorted out. So that is not holiday. It's just taking care of them and making sure that as well during the holidays your parents are comfortable. It will be definitely be out, for lack of a better word, evil for you to go on a holiday, drink
and the parents
drinks
are starving.
and champagne, and parents are starving. So what we would
I
do,
get the point.
Take care of them first. Make sure that the family and all in the families are fine. Those that need groceries, they have groceries. Then we can go on holiday, with a very clear conscience and go and enjoy ourselves.
I think time is against me. Let me jump to the next question. Let me come to Cuthbert and Andile. Making a culture, a lifestyle. If we are to start building a culture of 2021, we are already too late, like Izzy said earlier on, to start thinking, can we go to Cape Town? Can we go to Vilakazi and whatever? Maybe we are already too late on that. 2021 is, as we plan for 2022, 2023, what are some of your tips of making a culture for the family?
Thank you so much, Pastor. I think I would concur with you that if we approach holiday as a medicine, as a therapy, so that it becomes part of our planning strategy.
Yes.
Come January, I know the economy is bad, things are tough, but if one start budgeting early so that you prepare for the bigger picture. And also, in reality, we are living in a world where our social, our cultural, even our environmental and economic changes are evident around the globe. On a day-to-day, things have changed. We are experiencing pain, we are experiencing uneasy, and we're experiencing apprehension, anxiety, and fear of the unknown in here and now in the future. So therefore, that tells us that there is a need to pause and view the world around us in a very different perspective. You can only do that by disconnecting from your usual norm and connecting to nature. I think it's important for families to sit down and budget together, budget in preparation for the holiday. And you don't have to, when we think of holidays, to go to UK or most probably to go to Tanzania and so forth. Explore within South Africa. Let's try to reconnect ourselves. Let's rejuvenate. If God rested after working 7 days, what more as human beings after working, toiling so hard during the course of the year? We need that break to connect ourselves.
That's fine. You couldn't have said it any better. Andile.
Pastor, in the midst of what we have gone through as a continent, as the world, which is COVID-19, it has forced us to rethink of what are the most important things in our life. It is surprising that I've seen so many people, especially families, that have been creating societies, only society to save up money for 12 months for a holiday. And most of those people from the weekend that we came from, they've been going on holiday. So it is something that is not rocket science. When you look at Black communities, when we grew up as a society whereby we knew that it takes a village to raise a child, and saving has been part of a very big part of us. And it has been the things that we have been saving for that were very important. Now we have hit a reset button through the COVID-19 pandemic, whereby we need to now think what are the most important things. And holiday making is one and part and parcel of the most important part of things. So if people can know that for you to go back to work next year and save up more and work more for your children and everything, we need to go back and relax a bit. So working as a society in families, it will work where we contribute towards a cause of going to a holiday. We can make it happen. It starts with just that simple talk of saying, just saving a penny as a family, we can make it happen.
We can make it happen.
Yes,
I really appreciate that. It's powerful. You could not have said it any better. Friends, I really appreciate your input, your wisdom, your counsel, and also your advocacy. Our chairperson there of the African board take our message to say, really, whatever effort you can make to rebrand Africa and to make Africa accessible to Africans, we need to do it. We need to do it yesterday. Let's relook at our airfares. Let's relook at our hotels, our lodgings, and what have you, and even car rentals. Let's relook at all these things and afford Africans some leisure, families some leisure. We work so hard, man, from January all the way to November or whichever month you want to go on holiday. We all deserve a break. One thing that I've really loved about this whole thing, because if somebody is going to say, what is therapeutic about holiday making? You know, the idea of de-stressing. I am going into this to seek relief, relaxation, and what have you. And like you guys were saying, to disconnect in order to connect, and to prioritize my wife during holiday, prioritize my children during holiday. I can take care of my family, my parents, my siblings. That's okay. My grandparents, that's okay. But that's part of care. It's not part of holiday making. It was a big thing, and also going to our townships. You don't know, Andile, the kind of imagination you have built in me. When I look at my rural Zimbabwe, and I'm saying, we have our little mountains there, and we have our culture there. We can actually come up with a cultural village for people to come to our home area. to come and celebrate our culture in our home village and stuff like that. Sometimes you discover these cultural villages are built in Pretoria, but they're not there where the actual culture is and what have you. Why not open an avenue that will make us access your rural area and experience you exactly where you are? I mean, to me, this has been powerful, and also to think of an idea that, look, a tourist is not necessarily a European. An African is a tourist too.
Right.
I liked when you said, when we come from Harare in those buses, man, in our thousands, coming to shop in Johannesburg, we are tourists. We are building the GDP of this country. When people come from Mozambique, and when South Africans go to Zimbabwe, South Africans go to other African states, we are actually creating this Africanness, African connectivity. I'm proud of this discussion tonight. I don't know, friends. I want to ask from each one of you something that you say, really, we may forget anything else, but from my desk, I would like the African people to know this. And by the way, African people includes all white people in Africa. They are African people as well. I'm sure you agree with me on that. If they are South Africans, they've got ID for South Africa. They are Africans, except that our skin is different. What is your message, take-home message to our people in Africa in their rainbowness? Maybe let's start with the tour guide, Easy. Then we go to African Heritage, and then we can go to the African Board of Tourism. Your take-home message to our viewers.
Once again, Fundisi, thank you very much for the opportunity, and to our viewers.
If you not unmute yourself, Easy. Yeah, you can begin again. We had missed you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
Yes.
We can hear you, yes.
Okay, fine. I was saying thank you for the opportunity to be on this show. But once again, I would want to say to all our viewers that we only have one life while we are still here. One life to live.
One life.
And,
Yes.
And God has placed us in a beautiful continent, in a beautiful country, in beautiful regions. And let's take advantage of them. I would want to say, you don't need to be rich to enjoy what God has given us. Just be creative and enjoy it.
Yes.
And a happy Christmas and all the best for the new year.
Same to you, Izzy. May your family enjoy this festive season, and everybody else in your domain. Appreciate you joining in this program. Andile Mavata, your concluding remarks.
Thank you, Pastor, and thank you for inviting me in this platform. And I'll only start by saying this and say to everyone, let one teach one. It's a very important thing, because with the knowledge we have, we've got a power to change our stance in everything we do. Amidst of all the challenges we have faced as a continent, as the globe, especially as a continent, as Africa, amidst all these challenges that we have faced, but we say that there is light at the end of the tunnel.
Amen.
Only if one teaches one. Thank you.
Yes. Oh, thank you. Beautiful. And thank you for teaching us tonight. You were one teaching one. I learned a lot from you. Appreciate that. May you have a wonderful season and also a happy and prosperous new year. May the Lord add a blessing to your 2021, and together with you, Izzy, and in Nube, as he gives us from the African Board of Tourism, what is Africa saying to us?
Thank you so much, Pastor. As I advocate that each and everyone should be a brand ambassador of our destination. It is time to rebrand Africa. It is time to tell our own story. And traveling or tourism is a journey of discovery that explores the complexities and challenges of our existence, those of our internal and external world. It helps us to keep a bigger picture perspective in mind on our journey through life. It's internal world plus external world that becomes equals a bigger picture. So our traveling tourism is a way to quite the running treadmill of our unquestionable ways of seeing, doing, and being. While we travel, we are at home. It offers a means to pursue and engage, and it reflects processes that reawaken our curiosity, that regenerates our consciousness, and re-energize our hopes and dreams, our goals and inspiration as we continue to travel in life. Let us open our borders. We are saying, let's dismantle our borders. We are all brothers and sisters. Let us connect to one another. That's all what tourism is all about. Thank you so much, my pastor.
Beautiful, beautiful. From the African desk, we are so excited, and we feel very much humbled, Cuthbert, I must say this, that you could create time for us from that high office and be able to come here and talk to our African people and every one of us. I don't know, words fail me. One thing that I got from here that I don't want to miss is that holiday destinations are not in Europe. They are not in Europe. You know, I come from Harare, and from Harare, we have Lake Chiwero, and you can do boats there, you can do stuff, and there are lodges there. You and your wife can go there the whole weekend if you want 2 weeks in the lodge, and they're quite affordable. And what have you? If this is the nearest you can go and holiday make. Go and holiday make. And sometimes, you know, you may not even need to leave town. Why not go to some lodge to go and sleep? Spend just a holiday of sleeping. You are out there and you don't want disturbance. You and your husband, or you and yourself and your children. It's not busy. We have come here to sleep. Just enjoy sleeping and what have you. This has been a great topic, and I am sure we are going to have follow-up topics on this. And one of the natural follow-up topics to you, Cuthbert, would be African politics and tourism. I am sure I would like to invite a minister of tourism and yourself, and let's talk African politics and tourism. Are we making it any better, or are we destroying tourism? We would like to follow that one up next time. But for tonight, this has been a great event. I'm sure people have benefited. And also, let me say to you, viewers, it has been wonderful, as usual, to have you around, and I'm sure you have benefited a lot. And I'm sure you know our vision. Our vision, I know we are starting this channel. It's barely 3 months, almost 2.5 or 3 months. We are just starting. But our vision is to be a destination or a channel of choice for human development and human dignity. And we believe with your support, we are going to go far. So why don't you follow us on our Facebook page, Let's Talk with Pastor Ngwaru, and also subscribe on our YouTube channel, Let's Talk with Pastor Ngwaru. If you subscribe, you are endorsing the program. You are endorsing what we are doing. Let people out there know this is a powerful program. So why don't you, for those of you who have not yet subscribed, please just subscribe and click on notifications so that you'll get notified of programs coming ahead. Until next Thursday night, it's a wonderful good night to every one of you. God bless you. And thank you, panelists, once again for being with us. Thank you.
Thank you so
much. Good night. Good night. Thank you.